What a difference a week makes. I mean, last week y'all were real cute, but this week Brandon is a cheater, Russell is a sneaky little liar, and Anthony, how you doing? Love and Marriage Detroit, season 1, episode 2. Ah, make people don't even want to get married. So the couples are still over here at the lavender field. Uh, at some point, Brandon pulls Christina over to the side and gives her a little story. And it's crazy because even though she doesn't believe, she's not buying the bullshit. I know she's not buying the bullshit, but I mean, I'm sure she's heard it many, many times. But rather than ruin the anniversary dinner, they're going to go back over there and I guess pretend because then they had a slow dance together. And I mean, okay, however you want to play it. Anthony is over there blaming Russell. Why did you say something? I don't understand that. At the end of the day, Brandon did something stupid by having a new artist and did not tell his wife. And I feel like married people like go to jobs and come home from work and how was your day and da 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 da. And I was working with a new artist. So see, I just feel like those are things that would happen in regular conversation. That's what people do, don't you? I'm just saying. I mean, I come home and talk about my day and vice versa. Um, Yeah, so that whole thing is, this is what Brandon did. He's a big old fat liar and a big old fat cheater. And yeah, so if she wants to go play Kiki, to save face, then do your thing, girl. You might as well because Brandon doesn't think he did anything wrong. So there's that. That means it's probably gonna happen again because he ain't seen no problems with the way it's going on right now. So, congratulations. This is what happens when you marry somebody in a different state 6 months after you meet them. I feel like, had you taken a little bit of time before you jumped right into matrimony, you might have figured this out, beforehand. But hey, Russell and Kobe are at their house doing a little DIY situation. Cute, I suppose. It was cute until we find out that when Kobe decides she wants to discuss the whole situation down to the lavender field with her husband, he then decides to tell her that she should not be in other people's business. Maybe, Mr. I like to chit chat about my friends' drama with my wife. I feel like that's a thing too. I feel like that's a real normal thing to, spill tea to each other. Pillow talking. They say it like it's a bad thing. It's just a thing. That's all. Anyway, he told her she shouldn't have been in the people's business. I mean, Russell, when you pillow talking, make sure you say, don't say nothing, but you know what I'm saying? And so, anyway, while she's so busy worrying about whether or not Brandon is telling, I just stand by what I said. Brandon should have told his wife what he was doing. He should have. But we find out in, the near, I don't know, 2 sentences after that, that Russell has actually been going to school, divinity school. They've been going for a few weeks. And so I find it interesting that, within those couple of weeks that he's been, attending divinity school because he's decided he wants to be a minister, he ain't mentioned it, but he was talking about his boy over here who I cannot believe that he has a new artist, and did tell his wife. And Kobe, I feel like you had more of the information. Like you keep saying, like, I didn't know, but I feel like the story went. I feel like you did know. I'm just saying, because it was tea. Pillow talking is spilling tea. I'm just saying. So I just find it weird that he would say, yeah, he's got this new artist, and then there's no more details to that. The good part of the story is the part where he has a new artist and he hasn't told his wife. And so, Kobe, I feel like you was busting his ass out, and it's all fine and good, but let's don't like try to play us like you were like, I did not know. I was just trying to find out, like, what do you do for a living? Y'all be acting like first you say you've known each other for a while, then you be acting like I did not know anything about this person. So yeah, we'll have a conversation about the new artist that he didn't tell his wife about. Well, your husband did tell you that he was going to divinity school 2 weeks. And on top of that, he's had a whole conversation about it with her father. Huh. And then he doesn't really want to talk about things. He's like, I mean, this is what it is, and so we need to just move on. I don't think I'm gonna be able to just move on like that. She asked him, is there anything else? Is there anything else going on that you want to tell me about? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I was thinking like I was gonna buy a gym or open a gym. So what do y'all be talking about? These are all big things. They've only been married for 3 years. But I'm gonna say that's no excuse. Like, what is it that why did y'all get married? What is it that made you wanna like take that next step? Christina flew all the way from where she came from, doing whatever it is she does for a living. She's an influencer. I realized that being an influencer is it's a thing. Like, I realize being an influencer is a big thing. But I also know that like I see a lot of influencers on social media who have hundreds of thousands. Some have millions of followers. I don't know who the hell they are, but mostly all they do is post bikini pictures. Now, I'm just saying, maybe they do other things. I'm sure they do other things, but it just seems like there's a lot, and I mean, a lot of young people out here being influencers, and you only have 27,000, which is a lot, but not as, not as it relates to being in that influencer space. So I want to know, like, how do y'all make money? It's curious because Brandon is over here with the little girl being the star maker. I want to know what qualifies him to be like this star maker. Like, does he have a history in, dance or music? Was he a part of a band? I don't know. All I know is he be taking little girls down to that studio where he got his little equipment and I don't know what they be doing, writing and well, he was doing some other things, but we'll talk about that. Right now, we're talking about Russell. Russell, who went to divinity school for 2 weeks and spoke to this girl's father, like, how are you working so hard to go behind your wife's back to keep a secret, to not confront a conversation that you already know that she doesn't want you to do this? Because if you didn't want to have the conversation because you already knew how she was going to respond to it. Kobe said her father is a preacher and she ain't about that life. She did that already. She don't want to do that again. Russell, you done went from a nonprofit educator, sports educator, whatever it is you said you're doing over there. I don't know. I don't know what you people do. Make your money. It's just, I grew up in Michigan and, Detroit, I know has, there's definitely an affluent Black population in Detroit. That much I do know. I just find it to be interesting that Brandon and his influencer wife, Katrina, they have jobs that aren't really jobs. I mean, they are jobs, but like I said, it's not on the level of, I don't know, like Cardi B, for instance. When Cardi B came on, this is off the subject, but anyway, when Cardi B came on Love and Hip Hop, I had no idea who she was. My daughter, however, knew who she was. Then I started finding out all the little girls already knew Cardi B. They already knew Cardi B before she came to the Love and Hip Hop. They said she was funny. Like all the things they said about Cardi B have proved to be true. Now we know that she went there to you know, grow her career as an artist, as an entertainer, and boy, did she did the damn thing. So, Miss Christina, all I'm saying is, being attached to the fashion and beauty industry myself, all the influencers I see are in a bikini. Now you started with your little bitty booty, and it's a little bitty booty fan club out there somewhere. And you're a beautiful woman. I don't know what you're influencing. That's all I'm saying. And you said you're a fashion designer. Now that part I did see because when I looked at the kids' clothing, I thought, yeah, it's a thing. And I'm about to be a great, great, great. How many grades is it? I think it's 2 grades. Yeah, it's 2 grades. And so I'll be purchasing some things from over there, Kobe, because I really did like her stuff. Anyway, back to the business of it all. I don't know what they're doing over there. And now Russell is over here being a not-for-profit preacher. See. I mean, it's a job. And I'm sure you're very charismatic. What I'm seeing ain't a whole lot of charisma. It's a whole lot of, I mean, y'all look cute and everything, but I'm confused. So, and can you be a liar and a minister? Like, does that go together? Are they teaching you anything over there at that divinity school? They didn't teach you that maybe you should go home and pull up the book of rules. Doesn't the book of rules say something about honoring your wife or something like that? I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the rules, but I'm pretty sure lying to your wife is not a good thing. And the book of rules has to have something in there that says you're not supposed to be lying to your wife, but you did for 2 weeks. And you want to now open a gym. So you're going to go in the office at the not-for-profit. This is a day in the life of Russell. You go in the office, he put on a Martell suit, and he goes over there and makes phone calls to all the affluent people that they're so affiliated with. This is Brandon Braden said his day is with the movers and the shakers of Detroit. So he makes these phone calls to, do whatever you do over there at his sports education thing. I don't know if he was an athlete, but I do know he wants to be a preacher because the Lord told him, this is his calling to go be a preacher. So then, can you wear a Martell suit to church? I suppose. This is a nice suit. So you can go over there, but if you're a preacher, you probably won't be wanting to wear the same suit, but we'll get into that later when we figure it out. But you go over there. Does church go right after work? When do you go to the gym? That's when you go get all naked down. Like, well, you said you really wouldn't be there, but you're probably going to be there more than not. And those real tight fitting gym attire. Anyway, he lied and start pulling quotes out of the Book of Rules to get his wife to fall in line. She been through all of that before, so it ain't gonna be so easy. They resolved nothing. I mean, I feel like he made up his mind and she either gonna go along or not. So I mean, I guess 10 points for Russell, 0 points for Colby. Um, Brandon and Christina, the influencer and the talent developer, they just purchased a penthouse. Somebody bringing some checks in over there. They have a penthouse overlooking the bay. This ain't the bay, child, but this how that penthouse looked though. It was, Anyway, after everything that happened with Brandon over at the Lavender Field, Christina had to go to the Book of Rules to, I don't know, she's praying for patience or something. I feel like Brandon should have went to the Book of Rules. He's the one over here sinning. But child, over here in the penthouse, Brandon's putting the bed together, and Christina's getting a refresh on the Book of Rules, asking for strength and guidance and such, I suppose. She asked him, like, they move on to conversation, and she asked him, does he think she should meet the artist that he's working with? And he said, you haven't met 90% of the artists that I work with. Well, who are they? Who are all these 90% of what? How many artists have he worked with? Have we heard of any? Can we hear some music? Can we get a little resume? Can we get a little rundown of what you might have worked on? Because again, like, I hate to be referring to like love and hip hop and stuff, but these artists come on there and be like, I performed with this person and that person. I was a feature on Nicki Minaj. Da, 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 da. Like, they give you their why I'm here. I don't know who he's developed. I don't know who he's worked with. I don't know how much 90% of 5 or 500. I don't know. But yeah, he doesn't. No, basically no. No, you don't need to meet her. I feel like I wouldn't be asking permission. I feel like it's your studio. That means whenever I feel like coming over there, I just might. So whenever you ain't at home, and if I'm not doing anything, I might just pull up, bring a sandwich or something. You be over there vibing stuff in the zone. You get in the zone, you don't have time to go to Taco Bell. I might roll through it with a taquito or something. He, it's so weird. Like, I didn't think about it the first time because I was so focused on Anthony, but Brandon, how you doing? He over here blaming Colby for why they're in this mess in the first place, because she should have never brought that up. I told you, he said he doesn't think anything wrong. He did anything wrong. So of course it's Colby's fault. And on top of her bringing that shit up at the Lavender Field, she's swagger jacking. Now, I don't hear nobody in the street saying swagger jacking. I'm just saying, I think that's just a branded thing. I hear my kids talking all the time. I feel like most of y'all that aren't kids got some, and ain't nobody running around here talking about no swagger jacking. But for him, he thinks that Colby is over here swagger jacking his wife and being a mean girl. And he's pissed at her for calling him out. He's kind of bitch made. Christina's not going for it, thank goodness. But I think at some point, like, the Book of Rules might have told her to stand by her husband, child. So we'll see how that whole thing, plays out. Hopefully, her and Colby, well, we'll see. We don't know. Anthony and Dr. Latoya are at their home cooking. They are also discussing, their event. They have an event coming up for her opulence wine. She asked him if he invited his friends. He said he ain't having no ugly people over at the wine tasting event. I think that's weird, but I don't want to. They talk about the dinner. They talk about what happens at the dinner. Feels like it's a whole lot of pillow talking going on between these couples. Now, I'm not necessarily on no pillows. Well, not Russell. He over here finally spilling his tea. But and I guess he figured he better do it before shit. What if she call her daddy? Her daddy ain't telling your daddy ain't shit. Sorry, but he should have said something. He probably just figured she knew. Anyway, we all way over here. I'm all the way back there. Sorry. Anthony's weird. He said out of one side of his mouth, he said he probably would have did the same thing, but then on the other side, he just doesn't understand why he didn't just tell his wife. So Anthony, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it seems as though Anthony will jump through all kinds of hoops and off of all kinds of bridges just to make sure that he has his homies back because they've been friends for 20 years and it's just very important that he has his back. Plus, he has a whole man bun, and some people think that's kind of hot. And yeah. Dr. Latoya said they was going through kind of the same thing. Like when he went to Atlanta, he said when he went to Atlanta, it was not like that. She knew he was going. She just, changed her mind and told him he couldn't stay there. I don't know what he was going to do in Atlanta. I kind of don't care. Dr. Latoya got to go to work. Bring your ass back home, take care of these kids. Now, I don't know what you're doing for Live Nation, but you're going to have to do it from Detroit and not from Atlanta. Point blank and period. There you go. Is he like the guy that puts flyers on cars and stuff? What does he do for Live Nation? What do these people do? It's so confusing. At least I'm familiar with the name of the company, not at the Hit Factory. Isn't the Hit Factory closed? Oh, it's not a Hit Factory, it's a Star Factory. They make stars over there. So the guys meet up at the club. This is kind of weird. Brandon, he meets up with the club owner, who's Bravo. Now, these are the things I like. And I talked about this over at Shooting Shit near Tamika. And I said, with all these shows, like they need to bring friends in, people that we're familiar with, you know what I'm saying? Keep storyline rolling. Because when we're tired of these bullshit from these three people that, are very attractive, but they got a lot going on, y'all. Anyway, they at the club. Kristen doesn't want her man at the club. Kristen, 14 years is a long time, but you're only 40. And you look amazing. And your children are beautiful. And your business seems to be businessing because unlike some people, you can go to the website and get the stuff. Some of the stuff is sold out, but I got an eye on you, Miss Katrina. Anyway, you don't want the man at the club. You're gonna be chasing him around. That's exhausting. You can't be spending your whole day worried about what Brandon is doing. Just go on and do your thing, because what he over here doing is lying. Like it ain't even making no sense. So you at the club, your wife don't want you there. Yeah, he's sitting up in the club. He's like, he needs to be in this environment in order to make connections with people. And then he and his boys, like they are in an elite group of society in the deep. So he's filling Bravo in on the little, situation of him, trying to network and blah blah blah. And then Russell shows up and Anthony shows up and they're all sitting there, have a little conversation. And the girl waitress came over in a little skimpy waitress outfit, and Brandon has to like cover his eyes. He's not want to be looking at the skimpy little booty cheek that's hanging out over there next to the alcoholic beverage. Was he having drinks? I'm pretty sure they had drinks at the club. Maybe not Russell, but because Russell don't drink. Because Russell used to live in the club. Russell used to be in the club 4 5 times a week. He had to let that go. He had to let that go down to the church and go to school. Anyway, it's funny because Brandon said he wasn't gonna look at that lady's booty cheeks because he was worried that Anthony might say something. And I was like, yeah, but Anthony wasn't the one. Russell was the one that said something, but something tells me that he knows that his friend Anthony is a little bitch that runs his damn mouth. Because that's what he said without saying it. Russell said he was out in the club like, I don't know, drinking and doing whatever he was doing every 4 or 5 days in a week. That's a lot. What days was he going? Anyway, Brandon said when he was in the club, he was mostly networking, so he really didn't get to do the club thing. And I was like, isn't that what a club is? Like, don't you be in there networking? Like, I mean, I realize there's other things going on, like you drinking and you partying, but isn't partying at some kind of level like networking and growing your friend group? I'm just saying. It just don't. He don't make a lot of sense, but I digress. Russell apologizes on behalf of Colby because she came over there and was running her mouth, and he like, "Did you see the look on my face?" I was like, what is she doing?" She's saying what you said. That's why you had that look on your face because you were like, "Oh my damn! Now these niggas are gonna know I was over at the house telling their business." Colby. And Colby was like, "I don't give a care. Brandon should tell his wife." Bravo's like, what the hell are y'all talking about? So then they have to fill him in on what had happened over at the lavender field. And he responds, so you have to get approval on who you manage. Nobody said that, Bravo, the irritating single friend. No, that's not what was said. What was said was you should not be getting female artists to work privately with behind your wife's back. Especially the last time you did that, you was over there having emotional connections with people. And I don't believe that's the only way y'all was connecting. I feel like we think we stupid. Well, while they having a conversation, Kristen calls. Um, he's like, oh, I didn't tell her. How you make a club be quiet? How you make a club sound like church? Because he said he was at church. Like you just keep lying on top of lying. And you got your friends over here feeling awkward because now they feel like they're gonna have to lie for you, and they're not. Stupid. She says she was bored. Kirsten, find something to do. That's all I could tell you. Find something to do because, you know, and it's weird because she called and then she first thing she says is, y'all must be watching booty shaking." I don't be thinking that when my people go out. I mean, he could be watching booty shaking, but I mean, anyway. I mean, she doesn't trust him, so that she's always going to be thinking that. So, but I mean, damn, she didn't even ask him where he was. She thought he was booty shaking before he said anything. He said no, he was not booty shaking. He was nowhere near no booties. Only the booties were right there shaking right next to him. Then he proceeds to tell her that he's at church. Bravo opens his big mouth and she's like, "Is that Bravo?" "Oh yeah, he's here. We're just meeting up and talking business." He said, we catching up at church, praise the Lord. I was like, you going to hell. Like, are y'all like, Russell, this will be your department. You were over there at the school with the book of rules. Does the book of rules say anything about this? Because I feel like right here now he's involving all of y'all. And what's going to happen, Brandon, is these guys are going to go home and they're going to tell their wives, like they was over there at Bravo spot listening to you lie to your wife about where you was at. Anthony is like, what the? Why doesn't he just say where he is? Well, Anthony, because he's a cheater. And I mean, so why you want him, Anthony? Because look how he do. If he lie to his wife, he'll lie to you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What else I got written down? I'm about to go watch it. I'm about to go watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. It's Saturday evening. The work week is over, but I figure I'd get this right quick before I go watch the next one. I'm gonna need another glass of wine for all that happened. She said she was bored. He was acting annoyed. Russell said if his wife called him and said she bored, he said he finna exit and go home and make that third baby. But him and his wife have only been married for 3 years, and he's got a hot wife. They all do. So that's they all do. But there's 3 years in, they're still hot and heavy on each other. The other people been married for a long time, so they probably, and I don't know that Brandon is so hot for Christina. He don't really even act like he like her. Like I feel like Anthony likes Dr. Latoya. That's his homegirl. Christina ain't even your homegirl. You just mean to her, lie to her for nothing. And you're bringing the church all in it, and I feel very odd about that. Like you're not giving a good look to the people over there at the church. I just feel like they're gonna be not want to be affiliated with you and your lying ass. What church you go to, Brandon? You making the preacher look bad? So Bravo is like, well, like is the man trip off because I'm single, but y'all niggas gotta ask permission for things. And Anthony is like, we can still go. His wife said he cannot go. And Bravo's like, well, how are you gonna do this showcase if this nigga gotta get permission? If he's not even allowed at the club, how are you gonna have a showcase at the club? Good question. I think that's a good question, Bravo. But the thing is, maybe if Brandon stopped lying to his wife and went home today and said, hey, we were over there at Bravo spot discussing what a great idea that since Anthony works for Live Nation and I develop artists, that we would have a showcase at the club. It sounds actually probably like one of the few things that have made sense since, we started watching this shit. But, I don't know. Christina might not allow it. I feel like that shit's kind of weird too. But like, I understand why she feels that way. But girl, if you're going to stay, that's just seems so unhealthy and stressful. And I feel like, this is probably going to make some people mad, but I feel like the book of rules told you that you're supposed to do that. And so you've been hearing that like since you were a small child. You said your daddy was a preacher. And so you've been feeling like the book of rules told you that you're supposed to be. Anyway, submissive to this guy with the ponytail over here that lies and cheats. But okay. Anthony is like, what is the history? What is the history? Why is she like that? Why is she like this? Because, what did you do? And Brandon said the marriage was at a low, and he was one foot out the door, and he started leaning on this artist. Well, before he started leaning on her, They were like all up in the zone together. He started writing for her. And when you're writing for somebody, you need to like get to know them much better. So he he was like trying to find things out about her life, and he looked at screenshots. Now he stuck that one in there. I don't know what he was looking at screenshots of. I mean, I know what people be having all up in the cloud. Now, was it stuff that you be putting all up in the cloud? It just doesn't make sense. She was showing me screenshots of things, but did he meant to say that? Did he meant to say that? Did he mean to say that? A part of me feels like, how they say a lot of times with the women, they'll say she came on this show so she could get a divorce. I feel like that's what he did. I feel like he is going to keep just doing terrible things. Now he's publicly doing terrible things because, once you start doing publicly terrible things, hey, Keke Palmer's boyfriend, baby daddy, the people will come for you, and then you feel pressure. And so I feel like, he's doing this shit on TV so he can be done with her. He already had one foot out, and then he was looking at screenshots. And well, anyway, he started texting and talking shit about his wife and telling this girl like how he can't stand her. And I'm like, can't stand her? Yeah, I guess if you can't stand somebody, you got one foot out the door. But I don't know. She won't leave. She's there. She's there to stay. And so they figured it out. Oh, before that, he was texting the girl that he can't stand her. Yeah. And she opened his computer one day and pling, 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 pling. All of a sudden, all the text messages popped up, and that was another thing. And I was like, see, he wants to keep doing terrible shit. He did that so she could find it, because he probably already knew that she was looking, and she found it, and they went to counseling, and now he's still there. And Anthony's like, damn it all. Mm. It's kind of funny because I feel like Brandon is over here at the Star Factory, and what's the name? Anthony works for Live Nation. I don't think Brandon knows nobody. Like, he knows Bravo, and I feel like Bravo probably knows a lot of people. Just because Brandon is so corny, and so is Anthony. But again, I don't know what he does over there. But I just feel like Brandon is a user. Yeah, yeah. Anthony, he's not even really your friend. I feel like he's using your loyalty to him to get to know people over there. He's trying to get to Jay-Z or something, or other artists, because anyway, um, then this nigga brought it back to Kobe. Like, we went to counseling, and that's why I was triggered when Kobe brought shit up. Don't do that. Don't do that. Russell was like, if Kobe was coming for you, she would have been did it. So really, you should be more mad at me than you are at Kobe, because I'm the one that said something. And he was like, yeah, but you're big. And I'm like, and you're a pussy. Stupid ass. I hate to even say that, because pussies are fabulous. You're definitely not a pussy. You're a limp ass, weak ass, wimpy ass dick. That's what you are. Kobe goes over there to meet with Christina to apologize. They're cool. I'm like I said, I'm glad his little nonsense didn't put any wedge in between that. Then they start talking about, she started telling her how, girl, my husband's over here, a sneaky little liar too. He done went over there and went to divinity school. I grew up as a pastor's kid. He knows I don't even want that life like that. I am not trying to be somebody's first lady. And yeah, Christina was like, yeah, and I remember my dad used to be leaving the house at 3 a.m. to go pray for somebody, and I was like, oh yeah, huh. I I never, my mama didn't call the preacher to come over there at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's not something I've ever experienced. I didn't know y'all was doing that. Y'all be calling the preacher at 3 o'clock in the morning. I need prayer. I guess, child, whatever, like, whatever works. So we're at this wine tasting event, and everybody, it looks really nice. You know, they have a little beautiful little charcuterie situation set up, and it was a typical, it was at a wine store, a very nice wine store. Bravo's there. Christina comes with Brandon and his friend and her friend Chelsea. Russell don't drink no more and stuff, so he's not, him and Kobe are not there. Um, what's her name? Latoya introduces Miss Regina Gaines. She's the owner of the wine store. Then they have like a little, and she's a black business. Like she said the only one in Detroit, I think, in that area that's black owned. That's a wine store, and it's a nice little situation. They have the wine education, and if you've ever been to a wine tasting, you learn like what to pair things with. It's a cool experience. Um, then it's time for the mess. Um, they find out that the store is also like a bar. So if you go in there, like if you don't want to buy a whole bottle of wine, you can, sit at a bar, test it out, see which ones you like. And Russell is like, yeah, Anthony for sure. I mean, not Anthony. Anthony said, Russell for sure will not be coming here because he told us the other night at the club he used to be a wild boy. And Christina was like, at the club. See? And he stood there stuttering. Latoya's like, just tell the truth. And that's what I'm talking about. They went home. First of all, Brandon, you cannot be requiring your friends to lie just because you did. Russell and Anthony went home and they had a conversation with their wives because that's what you do when you're out. How's your day? And we went over there to the club. We met up. We talked about the showcase, blah, blah, blah. And you best believe the Colby and Latoya, Kobe, and Dr. Latoya for sure knows that you were having an emotional relationship with that lady that you were sending screenshots with, and how you were saying how you can't stand your wife. They heard the whole story. So they are looking at you like, what? And this fool was like, oops, my bad. Yeah, you sat up there and talk shit about Russell, how he shouldn't be pull talking, how he run his mouth too much, but back at the club, Anthony did say that he was worried. I mean, Brandon did say that he was concerned about Anthony and his big ass mouth, and with good reason, because we see he slipped it on out. Yeah, that's funny. Victoria was like, just say yes, nigga, just say yes. She was at the club. Don't sit up here and try to think of a lie because we're not doing that. It's too much work. You didn't do nothing. Anthony, like, so passionately starts defending this fool about how you gotta chill, Christina. I really don't like how he argues with Christina. I think it's weird. That's his wife. I don't know why you feel like you can talk to that lady that way, Anthony. But he just like so passionately just starts defending his friend. Never mind the part about the story where this nigga was over here having a relationship. And we gonna stop calling it emotional because we know he was over there smashing on that artist, the same artist that he had her styling. So both of y'all are trash because both of y'all was up in this lady's face and smashing behind her back. People ain't shit. You forgot that part of the story because you just want to sell this. I don't know what Brandon you're trying to sell us, but we see him, Anthony. We do not see your help. And so Chelsea, Christina's friend was like, thank you for inviting me. I think you are all very nice people. This is a really beautiful situation we have here. But I just have one question. Why are you so passionate about what's going on between them? Oh, Miss Sassafras over there had a whole meltdown and was like, because this is my guy for the last 20 years. Stay in your lane, little girl. We're bosses over here. You don't know about bosses because you ain't been around no bosses. But don't come for me, honey, because that's not what we do over here. I'm a whole boss. Christina, you need to be careful about who you be hanging around because clearly she's not used to being around bosses. Latoya, open your mouth because this nigga's embarrassing. He got his whole, two snaps in a Z formation happening over here in front of all these people. Please tell Anthony to calm his ass down. Why did he cuss that lady out like that and disrespect her like that when she just asked a question? Because you were being weird, bro. You're over here arguing with this lady's husband, this man's wife. For what? And Chelsea's her friend, so Chelsea knows he was over there having an emotional connection with the girl at the studio. We all know now. School said, you don't know me. Don't play with me. Anyway, that's how that went off. So, like I said, now that I got this out of the way, I'm gonna go get irritated some more with some more I'm gonna close with this. I'm not married, but I know a lot of married people. None of the married people I know their husbands are like nothing like this. Like I'm sure there's flaws, like we all are flawed at some point, and I know marriage has to be hard as hell. But I ain't around no husbands that's got daggone ridiculous as these people that Carlos King be looking for. Like, I mean, this is his recipe, and we're here watching the shit. I just find it interesting. I was like, this is what y'all, you guys really. If I was going to base wanting to be married off of anything and trust to believe, I am not trying to matrimony anybody. That ain't my ministry. However, if I wanted to, y'all want to make it look like nothing I want to do. Like, is that what we doing? Well, on that note, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, we'll be back on the next one. Bye, y'all.